Hey guys, what's going on? It's MJ's Raw Review, and I'm coming to you from mjfitness.au. Awesome Raw Review for the viewers at home today on an all-new greens-focused superfood supplement from our good friends at Switch Nutrition. It is, of course, Switch Greens in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's going to do. This nutritional information panel, man, there's a lot going on in there. Ain't gonna get it done. We about to go balls deep in this here Switch Greens. Luckily, we've got a big ass nutritional information panel appearing on screen so you guys can play along at home. Man, there's a lot going on in here. All right, so let's start with the different sizes. 50 scoops per tub in the tubs, 20 stick packs per box in the boxes, and it is 1 scoop or 1 stick pack per serve. Each serve is going to be a 5-gram serve. There are some macros, so let's just jump through those real quick. We're talking 14 calories per 5-gram serve, of which 1.3 grams of protein, 0.4 grams of fat, 1.1 grams of carbs, and 51 active ingredients. Count them with me. 1, 2, no, we're not going to count them. Take my word for it. There's 51. You can double check if you want. 51 active ingredients. If we do add up all of these actives, and it's tricky to do because there's some milligrams, there's some micrograms, there's some CFUs. We've done the hard work for you guys. I can tell you that there is 3,380.84 grams. Milligrams, I should say, of active ingredients spread across the 51 actives. 4 of those are registered trademark ingredients. We'll point those out as we go along. So we're talking about just under 70% active ingredients per serve or per scoop. So technically, to be exact, 68%, which means we're dealing with 32% flavors and sweeteners, as is Switch's tradition, naturally sweetened with stevia. There are no artificial sweeteners, no artificial colors in any of the flavors, and we'll get to the flavors a little later on. We're gonna do something a little special there. In terms of what those 51 active ingredients are and how they are going to help you stay healthy, we're going to break it down into the 5 main effects or 5 main elements that we look for in comprehensive superfood supplements. Those are effect number 1, or element number 1, is greens, of course. Number 2 is going to be reds, which is going to yield antioxidants and phytonutrients. Number 3, we're talking about gut health, which is a combination of probiotics and digestive enzymes and prebiotics as well. Number 4 is going to be fiber, and then number 5 is vitamins and minerals. So let's see how the Switch Greens stacks up. When it comes to greens, we're talking about 1.456 grams of greens and vegetable extracts, and that is their super greens and veggie blend. So 1,456 milligrams across 15 different sources. It's quite a small dose. If you go, look, it's 1.5 grams of greens compared to other greens on the marketplace. It's quite a small dose, but it is quite varied and quite comprehensive. The fact that they fit 15 different sources of greens and vegetables into that just under 1.5 grams is impressive. So quite a small dose, but quite varied. We are, however, going to give it a tick for greens because of the number of different extracts that we have in there. On to element number 2, or effect number 2, is going to be our reds, yielding antioxidants and phytonutrients. We only have 200 milligrams, and this is the native Australian fruit blend that we're looking at here, spread across 4 different sources. 2 of those sources are plum, so we've got plum, lime, and berry. Quite a small dose and not particularly varied either. So I'm gonna go half a tick for reds. It's definitely not worthy of a full tick, so we're at 1.5 out of 2. We then move into gut health. Now this is where it gets interesting. This is their gut health blend, probiotic and digestive enzymes. This is stacked. So 0.5 gram of glutamine, 500 milligrams of glutamine. It's a small dose of glutamine, but keep in mind everything else that it's combined with for gut health. We then have lactose spore, 2 billion CFUs, and that is that's our first registered trademarked ingredient in this blend that we're going to highlight. That is a studied dose of lactospore, so that's what we would consider a clinical dose. We then have, from a digestive enzyme perspective, digozyme, our second registered trademarked ingredient in Switch Greens. That is your full spectrum digestive enzyme blend in a 50 milligram dose, which is the studied clinical dose. And then on top of all of this, they've gone and put 4 other probiotics. I'm not even going to try and pronounce them because I don't speak Latin. I speak Spanish though. Latin names, not going to do it. I'm going to say 4, and they all start with lact, limo, lacto. 4 other probiotics in there with a total of 3.25 billion CFUs. That's in addition to the registered trademark lactospore. So they have gone over and above when it comes to probiotics and gut health. A big tick there. So we're at 2.5 out of 3. We then go into fiber. Now, there's no direct source of fiber from an active ingredient perspective here. There's no psyllium husk, there's no inulin, but when we look at the macros and the nutritional information, it says that there's 1.3 grams of dietary fiber. So I'm not 100% sure where that's coming from. It could be just some trace fiber in the super greens and veggie blend, maybe some coming from the fruit blend, some coming from the mushroom blend. I'm not 100% sure, but it does yield 1.3 grams of fiber, even though there is no direct source of fiber in here. For that, I'm going to give it half a tick once again. So we're at 3 out of 4, and then the 5th element that we're looking for is vitamins and minerals. This is their bioavailable vitamin blend. It's a 15 ingredient blend that covers all B vitamins: vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D3, vitamin E, vitamin K2, some trace minerals with the Irish sea moss in the whole food mineral blend, and some shilajit as well. Very comprehensive, but once again, the doses are quite low. So Switch do actually disclose that in their bioavailable vitamin blend, everything is dosed to a 33% RDI, which is 33% of your recommended dietary intake, which means you'd have to take 3 serves of greens, so 3 stick packs or 3 scoops per day to meet the dietary requirement for each of the vitamins and minerals that Switch include in every serve of the Switch Greens. That being said, I'm going to give it a tick for vitamins and minerals because it is covering all bases, even though it's not super highly dosed and consciously dosed to a third of what it should be. Switch really are kind of covering all bases, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the effects, but I am going to give it a tick there. So we're at 4 out of 5 in terms of what we look for in comprehensive superfood supplements. In terms of what it's missing, I think obviously it goes with where I placed the half tick. So the first one was with the reds, the antioxidants and phytonutrients. I'd like to see some more reds in there, just bigger doses and probably more varied doses as well. And then a direct source of fiber, really. So a psyllium husk and inulin, something like that, to add a little bit more fiber and really kind of supercharge the gut health effect that we're looking for in our superfood supplements. However, it does also elicit 3 other effects that we generally don't look for in superfood supplements, but are nice to have. So the first is vitality and immunity support, and this is covered by their organic mushroom blend, which is 500 milligrams total across 5 different types of mushrooms. So that's going to help with immunity support. It's going to help with general health and well-being as well. They then also have a stress support blend, which they're calling their adaptogen blend, which is 250 milligrams of actives spread across 3 types of adaptogens. Adaptogenic herbs are in here, which is just going to help you adapt to physical and psychological stress throughout the day. So really kind of tapping into vitality as well. And then finally, this is unique. I've never seen this before in a superfood supplement. They've got their super fat blend, which is a blend of Go MCT registered trademarked medium chain triglycerides and Go Fat, which is your registered trademarked olive oil extract, 250 milligrams in total across those 2 types of fats. Obviously the fats are in there. They're going to help with organ health. They're going to help with brain health. They're going to help with, once again, general health and well-being. And it is very unique. I've never seen a superfood supplement that has directly and consciously put a fat blend using registered trademarked ingredients in there. It's very, very cool to see. I think generally speaking, Switch Greens, when you kind of step back and you look at how it's been formulated is really a cover all bases comprehensive daily health and well-being supplement. It really is going to fill in a bunch of the gaps that exist from diet more than anything, and then give you some nice digestive benefits, immunity benefits, adaptogenic benefits. It really is kind of like the kitchen sink of superfood supplements is probably how I would describe it. In terms of how it tastes, how it mixes, it comes in 5 flavors. It comes in cloudy apple, comes in fruit juice, comes in mango passion fruit, comes in raspberry lemonade, and comes in strawberry kiwi. Infamous MJ's taste and mixability test about to go down. I have 300 milliliters of water. I have a Switch Greens stick pack in the strawberry kiwi flavor. I'm gonna rip this off. We're gonna drop it in. I'm gonna show you guys how it mixes. Now I'm gonna refresh my memory on how it tastes. One thing with the stick packs is you do have to be a bit patient with them, because it's not a particularly fine powder, I would say. So you have to kind of like rub the powder to get it out, because the space that they leave for the powder to come out is very small, very, very small. I think it's because the powder's not particularly dense, so it kind of sits in the stick pack. Anyway, you can see straight away, there's no way that's going to mix in the glass with a spoon. So you've got 2 options. You can either shake it up in a shaker, or you can use one of these bad boys, a Switch Nutrition Whiz Stick. See, they've thought ahead. They've thought ahead. That's what I like to see. That being said, I'm going to go so far as to say turbo ball is required for this Switch Greens. We're going to use the Whiz Stick in the raw review though. Spin that up. And once you've got that in place, it does mix pretty well. However, spilling it all over my shit. Here's some that I have prepared earlier. And what we're going to do, because there's 5 flavors, we're going to taste every single one of the 5 flavors live right here. And I'm going to rank them based on my personal preference. So here we go. We have a cloudy apple flavor. We have a fruit juice flavor. We have a mango passion fruit flavor. We have a strawberry kiwi flavor. And finally, we have, and I should have spaced these a little better. There we go. A raspberry lemonade flavor. Now, a couple of things you're going to notice before I go ahead and do this taste test. Firstly, you can't tell which flavor is which. That's why I've kept these stick packs behind here, so I know which is which. That is a function of not using any artificial colors, not using any colors at all for the Switch Greens. So they all kind of look like greens. Second thing you'll notice is if you do leave them to settle, they will settle. There's a whole bunch of settling going on in the bottom of these glasses. So I'm going to reach for my whiz stick again. I'm just going to give each of them a quick whiz to whiz that up. Hope I'm not going to cross-contaminate these flavors. Shouldn't be too bad. This is why I say turbo ball is required, because the blend in here is not particularly soluble. So you have to whiz it up or shake it up and then drink it pretty quickly, or else you're going to get a mouthful of greens with your last mouthful of the greens. All right, let's start. Cloudy apple flavor going down first. It tastes like apple. It does have an aftertaste of greens. Fruit juice, number 2. It's kind of like a pineapple, orange, mango initial taste. Much less aftertaste than the cloudy apple. Mango passion fruit, number 3. Very heavy on the mango. Sweet, actually, for a mango passion fruit. A little bit of an aftertaste. I don't mind it though. Strawberry kiwi, number 4. Ooh, no, I don't like that at all. I don't know what that tastes like, but this is the risk of doing these live. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. That's definitely not strawberry kiwi. Yeah, I don't know what that tastes like. That's very strange. It's some sort of fruit, but there's no strawberry or kiwi going on. Last but not least, raspberry lemonade. Oh, that one's good. That one's real good. That probably has the least aftertaste of all. All right, this is how I'm going to rank them based on this live taste test. And I have used them all before, but it's interesting when you do this like back to back because it allows you to really compare. Raspberry lemonade is by far the best, in my personal opinion. I'm then going to go mango passion fruit, then fruit juice, then cloudy apple, then strawberry kiwi, aka I don't know what flavor that is, but it's definitely not strawberry kiwi. So that's how we're ranking them. That's my personal opinion. I think generally speaking across the board, the flavors, apart from the strawberry kiwi, I'm just being honest, are quite pleasant to drink. They definitely all do have a bit of like an earthy aftertaste going on. Like you can tell, if I didn't tell you that, if we did a blind taste test and I didn't say this was a green supplement, I said what sort of supplement is this, you'd probably guess that it was a green supplement or a superfood supplement of some sort, because it does have that that earthy aftertaste to it. That being said, the flavors are pretty nice, pretty pleasant across the board, apart from the strawberry kiwi. I still don't know what's going on there. What is that flavor? It's a fruit. I just can't put my finger on it. Is it like durian fruit or something? Might be durian or papaya. One of those exotic fruits. Anyway, raspberry lemonade, by far the best. All right, let's move these back out of frame. And I'm going to tell you guys about the effects. We're going to discuss some of the side effects. And then I'm going to show you guys what it compares to. Green's back up in the mix. In terms of the effects, it's a superfood supplement. So there's a couple of things it's going to do. Firstly, it's going to help increase your greens and reds intake. So if you have gaps in your diet from not eating enough vegetables, not eating enough fruits, it is going to plug those gaps for you, and it's going to plug them relatively well. Secondly, it's going to help with digestion and gut health, specifically going to help with gut health. The probiotics, the prebiotics, the digestive enzymes in here with the added glutamine, very, very comprehensive and very well dosed when it comes to actually improving gut health. The third is it's going to help with your natural energy levels throughout the day. And that's really going to be because of the full spectrum vitamins and minerals in there, the adaptogens in there, the immunity blend in there. There's a whole lot going on that's just going to help with natural energy production without the use of stimulants. And then finally, it's really just going to help keep you healthy, right? It's going to help you adapt to physical and psychological stress. It's going to fill in the gaps in your diet. It's going to make sure you've got a nice spread of vitamins and minerals going on. And that's why I say it really is like a cover all bases, throw the kitchen sink at it type superfood supplement. So there's some really nice effects that tie into why you would look at incorporating switch greens into your daily supplement regime. In terms of the side effects, there's really only two to be wary of. Firstly, if you do struggle with digestive enzymes, some people digestive enzymes almost upset their stomach. Keep in mind that it does contain a big dose of digestive enzymes, and also a ton of probiotics as well. So if you are a bit sensitive to those kind of gut health inducing ingredients, just be cautious that there are big doses of them in switch greens. And then secondly, beware of doubling up or tripling up on vitamins, because this does have a full spectrum B vitamins, vitamin A, E, D, K, so on and so forth. If you are taking those vitamins separately, you're probably going to be at risk of taking too much of those vitamins. For the most part, no big deal, you're just going to piss them out, but there are some vitamins that you don't want to be taking too much of. So just double check, make sure that if you are taking vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin K individually, and you're throwing switch on top, that you're not pushing yourself, especially if you're taking this 2 or 3 times a day, you're not pushing yourself into like super highly dosing a bunch of the vitamins as part of your daily supplement regime. What does it compare to? We're going to take a look at 2 other Australian superfood supplements and see how it stacks up. On one hand, we're going to do transparent health juice, And on the other hand, we're going to do Primabolics Everyday Health. Let's start with Health Juice because that one is the newest. Well, now this is the newest. It was the newest. Rookie versus rookie. All right. Health Juice has slightly less greens than the Switch Greens. However, it has double the amount of reds. It has half the amount of probiotics, but it has the same amount and the same type of digestive enzymes. Health Juice does have fiber, direct sources of fiber, whereas Switch Greens does not. Health Juice has a vitality and immunity support blend, but it's dosed a lot lower and not as comprehensive as Switch Greens. You can kind of see it's a pretty close fight here. Health Juice has a much higher dosed, similar full spectrum vitamin and mineral blend, just with higher doses across the board. Health Juice also has liver support, which Switch Greens does not. It also has electrolytes, which Switch Greens does not. However, Switch Greens has stress support adaptogens, which Health Juice does not, and it also has healthy fat support, which Health Juice does not. Say that fast, which Health Juice does not. So, better in some, not so good in others. Health Juice is available in 3 flavors, and for those of you who have watched the raw review on Health Juice, you will know it's the best green supplement we have seen thus far, and still undefeated even when you put it up against the Switch Greens. However, Switch Greens has more flavors. When it comes to price, Health Juice, however, is much more expensive. It's $3.16 per serve, and it only comes in 25 serve tubs. So it's almost close to twice the price per serve of Switch Greens. But that's how it stacks up. Everyday Health from Primabolics, on the other hand, has 70% more green, so much heavier on the green side of things. However, it doesn't have any reds in there at all. It does have a similar amount of probiotics. However, it has about 10 times the amount of digestive enzymes, but it doesn't include the registered trademarked digozyme. So once again, we're kind of head to head here, winning on some, not so good on the others. Everyday Health also doesn't have fiber, similar to Switch Greens. It has a much higher dosed, similar full vitamin and mineral blend, once again in higher doses. It does have liver support, which Switch Greens does not. It has a much higher dosed mushroom-based vitality and immunity support blend. It does not include stress support, and it does not include healthy fat support. So you can kind of see where Switch kind of stands alone with greens, specifically with that adaptogenic stress support, and the healthy fat support is not common to see that in superfood supplements. Everyday Health also comes in 5 flavors, also comes in 2 sizes, $3.16 in the 25 serve tubs, and $2.48 in the 40 serve tub. So both of those are more expensive per serve than the Switch Green. Who is the Switch Greens best for? This is the question we need to answer, because there's a lot of superfood supplements on the market, guys. And if you're looking at Health Juice, Everyday Health, AG1, put whatever product you want in there, it can be a little bit confusing as to decide which one is best for you. I think that Switch Greens is best for anybody who is looking for a cover-all bases, fill in all the gaps superfood supplement. That's what it's going to do. It's going to do fill in the gaps in your vitamin and mineral intake, fill in the gaps in your greens intake, fill in the gaps in your fruits intake, provide you some vitality support, help with digestive health. It just does like everything all across the board. Nothing, it doesn't do anything super well. Well, actually, you know what? The digestive health and the gut health, digestive support and gut health, it does super well. But everything else, it just ticks a lot of boxes. It covers a lot of bases, and it fills in a lot of gaps. It also tastes pretty damn good, and it's also one of the best value for money superfood supplements in the market in Australia at this point in time. And that leads me on to price and value for money. In the 20 stick serve packs, it's $49 for 20 serves, so it breaks out at $2.45 per serve. If you find a flavor that you absolutely love, oh, and actually let me mention, you can get the stick packs in the assorted version, which means you get 20 stick packs across 5 flavors. You get to try all 5 flavors. You get 4 stick packs of each of the 5 flavors, so you can try them all and decide which flavor you like. Then once you commit to a flavor, you move to the 50 serve tub, and you're going to save a whole bunch per serve, because this is $89 for 50 serves, so $1.78 per serve. It doesn't matter how you cut it. Even in the stick packs, it's one of the best value for money superfood supplements in the Australian marketplace. And then when you find the flavor you like, you move up to the 50 serve tub. See you later. It's not even close. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the MJ Fitness YouTube channel. Stay up to date with all these latest raw reviews we've got going down and everything else on the channel. That is MJ's Raw Review on the all new Switch Nutrition Greens in the house. And I'm coming to you from mjfitness.au.